my blog kind of helped me because from there, like I said, I found community. There's other people that's going through that. And I didn't know that, of course. You don't want to talk about that because it's embarrassing. And I'm really grateful for Not a Bad Life because it did it's kind of like, it's weird to say this, but it's kind of like when people go through stuff and they find the church and they're like, yeah, the church helped me. But me doing Not a Bad Life, it kind of transitions me to be a more peaceful person. I'm not angry anymore. Like, I handle my emotions better. Like, because before, if I was mad, it's up. Like, but now it's like violence. Why are we doing that?
What's up, everybody? Mage again. Thank you for stopping by to another episode of Beyond the Brand. Today, we're sitting here with Nashai Carlett, someone who's blending storytelling, creativity, community to building something meaningful with mental health. She works in journalism, built a career in digital marketing, and is the founder of Not About Life, a mental health brand focused on spreading what she calls positive propaganda through self-care gifts, storytelling, and community experiences. What started as a blog has now grown into a brand, a platform that encourages people to slow down, connect, and take care of themselves. Please welcome Nashai Carlett to Beyond the Brand.
Hello, everyone.
So for people who may be discovering you for their first time, so can you tell them a little bit about yourself, who you are, and the type of work that you do?
Yes, my name is Nashai, like he said, but everyone calls me Shay. And my full-time job is digital marketing, but I'm here because of Not a Bad Life. And Not a Bad Life is a mental health brand, a self-care brand centered around mental health. I sell self-care gifts in the midst of spreading positive propaganda. So things like I got on now, small messages to me, helps build stronger bonds and kind of just push you in a direction of being in a more peaceful space than always on edge. I talk about Not a Bad Life more than I do talk about my full-time job because that's my baby, and I feel like that's where like all my content creation comes from, and everybody like kind of recognizes me from running Not a Bad Life. But that's me, that's my baby, me and Not a Bad Life.
She has a very bright brand, I'm not gonna lie. If you go on her social media pages, look at
I
how she's
always
dressed.
dress in color.
Look at how she's dressed right now. It's a very colorful, it's very colorful. Her brand is very colorful. And that's something that you need in mental health, right?
Yeah.
You know, obviously you're not trying to use dark colors. You're not
Right.
trying to use, monochrome colors. You're trying to use something that's going to lift you, is going to be positive, especially when you look at those colors. So certain colors kind of attract that, right?
When I started Not a Bad Life, like you said, it started off as a blog.
Yeah.
And I realized that in my process of beginning this brand, it was my process of self-care journey. So anything that I'm talking about, I'm doing, it's not that I'm literally an expert and I went to school for it, it's because I've experienced it. So I'm talking from experience for the most part. When I started and I was learning about mental health, my friend actually got me into therapy in college. I was on my way to get my master's, and he was like, maybe you should try therapy. I realized when I'm looking for, things that make me feel better, even through research, everything was black, it was red. It was very intimidating, and that's intimidating. Like nobody wants to, that's how people feel about like hospitals and anything that has something to do with medical. It's not fun to look at, and I feel like it should be. It should be some type of, not excitement, because you may not be in a happy space when you're there, but something that could uplift your spirits.
Yeah.
So when I started to do Not a Bad Life, and I'm talking about like, everything's going to be okay. We all see that message all the time, but mine's is more brighter, and it's a story behind why I'm telling you everything is going to be okay. Like maybe I went through something that week, and I'm letting y'all know like this is what I went through, but everything gonna be cool.
Yeah, because a lot of time it's just about being vulnerable with your audience, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, it's something, you might be going through something, and somebody might have gone through the same, might be going through the same thing as well, but they don't want to talk about it, don't want to speak about it. But once they hear somebody else is going through about it, it's like, oh, I have that connection that I'm not the only person
that's
going through it.
Kind of how I built the community around Not a Bad Life. It was kind of just me saying like, sometimes I'm mad and sometimes I'm sad and I cry a lot, and this is what's going on with me. And then I'm putting it all together like, guys, we got to take care of ourselves. Like, yes, we got to exercise. Yes, get like your skincare and all that, but make sure you're taking care of yourself internally. Like, you know, telling yourself good things, being around people who make you feel good.
That positive
Yeah,
reinforcement.
exactly.
Yeah, cool. So when you look at your journey from journalism, marketing, and now building your own brand, you know, what kind of connects all of those chapters?
Ooh, that is a great question. I think what connects all of those chapters is that they were all an outlet. So I went to school technically for public relations and I did journalism as well. So coming out of school, I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? Of course, I worked in agencies, but then it was like, I used my journalism for my blog. I would interview people from Philly. I would have my own blogs. I also worked, I did hip hop blogs too, because I love music. But as far as my outlet, when I started my blog for Not a Bad Life, it was called Butter Blog, because Shea Butter.
Okay.
I love alliterations. But I started the blog and I started to say, like, these are things you can do to have a good day. And that was me being vulnerable. It was some stories I told on that old blog that were very personable. And that's kind of how I kind of switched from that. And people actually read it, which I thought was funny. Yeah, and I got tired of writing, to be honest. I wasn't making no money from it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it got to be a way to reinforce these messages in
That
a
you can
more
monetize.
shorter, and that's where I think my marketing brain was coming in. I'm like, I still want to pass these messages, but it got to be a different way where people will like instantly grasp it.
Yeah, because I was actually looking at that. I know when I was looking over your LinkedIn and trying to learn more about you, other than what I know, and I was like, oh, she was a freelance.
Yeah.
She was a freelance journalist, and I was like, what type of stories did you cover? Essentially, what type of
So
stories did you
once
cover?
a few stories I covered, I don't want to talk about the actual place I worked at. It was based in New York, but they're like something going on with them. I don't know. So, but my stories covered like animals and like people saving them. Like I did those type of stuff. And that's funny that you look back at it. It's like, damn, yeah, I always been like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was stuff like that, like stories. Like I remember I had to write about a story where a kid like saved his grandmom from like their house being caught on fire. It's always like those type of like uplifting stories. So I guess
Yeah.
it's just always been in my blood.
Yeah, I guess because a lot of times when people are covering journalism nowadays, it's more of like the negative.
Also, people aren't like real journalists, and it's not like I've been deep in my career in journalism for a long time, but it's more so about you really want to tell a story. Now it's kind of like you want to put it out there first so you can get the impressions from it so you can thrive off social media. So it's not the same now, I feel like, with some journalists, not all, of course.
Yeah. So you think some of that experience that you had helped you with helping telling a story when it comes to not a bad life and building your own brand?
Yeah, it's definitely journalism, but especially marketing. Like like engraved, it's like you got to tell a story. Like, what's your hero story? Like, what is your strategy behind? And luckily for me, I don't want to say it's easier, but also it is my job as far as marketing. But when it's personal, it's easier to have your brand story because it's not everything I'm saying is kind of flowing. Like the reason why I started is because we needed more messages, and I also was going through my own things. So I was writing about it, and then I said, okay, I need to build some propaganda around it. Like I said, so like more positive messages. And that became like my community.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. But now, like you said, now I'm thinking about it, I've always been like, okay, we need to put some like good vibes in here. It stinks in here.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because nowadays, once you put on any type of news, any news channel, it's just like seems like people at least seem to care about the negative things that are going on.
And it is
you
a
don't
lot
hear
of
somebody
negative
about
things.
you don't see anything about the kid saving
People be saving lives.
Yeah, saving lives or anything like that. It's just talking about all the bad things.
Yeah, it's
happening
easier
in the
to get
world.
our heart rate up, and I think kind of, even though it would be going another way, but that is what I think purposely is happening for all the bad things that we're seeing. We should all be in tune at the same time, but we should not be seeing so much negative things. It causes stress. It causes me stress. I'm learning about everything that's going on. It makes me sad. And it makes me feel bad that I can't do anything about it. And it's just like a whole cycle. So I'm like, yeah, we need to plaster some smiley faces up in this.
Yeah. Was there ever a story that like kind of stuck with you when you were doing journalism?
No, besides our U.S. government. The stories that I liked So for my blog, I did a lot of personable interviews, but they were always around rappers. Like they would always come to me like, can you write a profile about me? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I would learn about them in that way. And these were rappers people probably didn't look at in a certain way, but I got to talk to them and get to know them and write the story from there. And they were always so amazed about how like, they're like, yeah, you make me sound really cool. I'm like, well, this is the information that you gave me. You are cool, yeah.
You are cool, yeah.
So not much of a story, but more so what I got from it. It just, people really enjoyed it. And I'm honestly grateful for that, even though I'm like, I cannot.
Are they mostly, were the rappers mostly in Philadelphia? Or like,
They were mostly in Philly.
We do have a pretty good
A strong,
music community.
Yeah. And around that time, like between 2014, 2018, like the rap scene I feel like was very heavy, and people were throwing events and they were all coming together and performing together on shows. We don't have a lot of that now, of course, because of violence.
There's a lot of violence.
But before that, it was, you know, it was fun. It was a nice like community aspect of the scene in Philly, as far as like the arts and music and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. So you've always been in marketing your whole career. Was that something that you knew right off the bat of like you growing up that you were gonna get into marketing? Like what made you get into marketing?
I'm not gonna lie, like so when I went to LaSalle, I went under comm.
She's MBA grad as well.
Yes, I am. But I went to LaSalle and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in comm because I wanted to be a media. Like I wanted to be doing this. I wanted to be on like the BET Awards carpets, like asking just stars about themselves, learning about them, and just kind of just having conversation with them.
Interviewing people is fun.
Yeah,
you get to learn a lot. It's a lot of good social skills.
Yeah, and it's a good flex too, because if you really, when you really research the person and you talking to them, and like you did, you kind of like went through and you learned about me, and then a lot of times I feel like that doesn't happen with journalism, and people keep getting the same questions asked over and over again. And it was fun to kind of break away from that. But then I got into public relations and journalism. I was really good at writing. And public relations, it wasn't marketing around that time, I don't believe. So I got into PR.
Yeah, that's true.
And I got into a marketing hat. And that's when I realized like, oh, I'm really good at marketing. I would get, when I went for jobs like, hey, I got, you know, my business and my degree in public relations. They're like, okay, can you do marketing? And that's when people were on like Twitter and stuff like that. So I kind of transitioned into marketing and found that I was really good at it.
Yeah. Well, like what were some like campaigns that you worked on in the past that you're like, oh, this was the one that like, you know, that really blew up?
Oh my God. Me and my team worked on, it was my first agency I ever worked at when I was it IG Creative? I think that's what it was called. I don't think she no longer exists anymore. But we did, I don't remember what the campaign was, but I remember the news came, and it's because I reached out to him. Okay. And it was Mike, who's hosting I don't watch the news. Who's hosting the news?
What news?
It's the same guy.
What?
Fox 29.
Fox 29?
His name is Mike.
The older white guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
him, yeah. I just remember him being there. I remember around that time.
He's
with Alex. Yeah, I know who Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Alex.
We know Alex.
Yeah. Mind you, he was there years before Alex.
Yeah.
But I remember him coming and being able to talk to him. I think it was a really cool thing for me because the setting up process. So it was like I had to go into our list and email people and create that press release. And then I had to set up. So it was like energy drinks. It was some, y'all. I don't remember. I'm 33. So when this was happening, I had to be like 21. But the process of getting everything together and getting people prepared for it is what I fell in love with. But I think I instantly found out that's more so marketing what I was doing and not public relations. I was reaching out to people in SPR, but
you don't really hear that much. You don't really hear people doing PR anymore. It's more of just like just branded as, like you said,
PR
marketing.
is like babysitting, and that's what I didn't like. And it's more so like, oh, I have all these contacts, and let me get this together for you. I really like being hands-on. So like, how are you doing the rollout? Like, do you need installation somewhere? Can we build something? Like, you know, how are you getting people prepared to be excited about it? Like graphics, videos. That is when I was like, oh, okay, this is what I like to do. This is what I'm gonna do.
So you think you enjoy more of the branding outside of the messaging or storytelling? It's
fun. It's like a science behind it. It's like my science. It's like, oh, like I'm going to release this thing. This is my audience. This is what I think they would like. And this is the messaging that I think they would like. And then let's say, like, I'm running ads right now, and one form of my ads wasn't running right. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? Why is it not working? I added some text to it, did some other little stuff, and now I got a few orders coming in. I'm like, okay, well, this is what my audience like. It's like
there's a rhythm and
yeah,
madness
it is.
to the madness, right?
And it could be fun if you like doing it.
So you do run ads for Not a Bad Life.
Yes, I run ads. I do everything I possibly can, which I'm at a point where I should be. I should have people with me. So I run ads. I do my my organic social media. I'm on Instagram and Pinterest. I do my email, which is 2 times a month. Yeah.
Are you where are you running? What platforms are you running ads at?
I'm doing Meta. I'm doing Pinterest, and I'm doing Shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I run my business through Shopify, so they offer a lot of like help and aid on this is what you need. So I just do everything they tell me to do for real.
Yeah.
When it comes to optimization.
Yeah, it's really good for like, you know, brands like that.
Yeah,
that
so
sell
Shop
a lot of
has
merch.
been working out well for me actually, but I have a following on Shop, which I didn't know, that I had to dig deep into.
You have to like people follow your actual like
yeah, they
brand.
actually follow me. I have reviews and everything on there. I said, wow, let me write them back.
Yeah.
But I also do, of course, a lot of organic formatting too. So that's traditional marketing, like flyers, like going in and talking to people, and I vend a lot too. So that helps in my retention. So all avenues I'm covering, and I'm in a few stores.
Yeah.
So
you have to hit all. You don't know where somebody's gonna come from. You just have to
I need to get them everywhere.
Yeah, like right this, like people will pass by the store all the time, but then they will reach out to us on like social media. They're like, oh, I didn't know you were in Philly. Like, you were right down the street from me. I'm
and
like,
you over communicate, and it's still
time.
somebody that don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I have my separate page and I have Not a Bad Life's page. And sometimes, and for the most part, I'm always saying Shop Not a Bad Life, but it'll be random, like, oh, I didn't know you had a store.
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally say
it.
Come to my store every time. Every time I end my post, I say shop now.
Literally, it's somebody that's like, oh, I didn't know that. That's why I always tell people, like, people don't want to over communicate because they're like, I don't want people to unfollow you. Somebody unfollow you, then that's cool because you don't need to be communicating to them. If you really trying to like build,
that's not your audience.
Yeah, it's not your audience.
It's not your audience.
But I'm like, over communicate because people don't know. I'll set up. From my setup, you can see the name of my store. In my eyes, everything is very like you see it, and somebody will come up and be like, what is the name of your store? And I'm just like, okay, I got to figure out another way to over communicate.
Like, are you in Philadelphia? It says Philly right there.
Like, literally.
Yeah. So let's get into Not a Bad Life and starting it and, you know, growing it. You spoke about it a little bit. It started as a mental health blog. How long was it a blog for before you said, okay, this needs to transition to me making some actual money?
I think for 4 or 5 years. I started when I was going into grad school, and I ended it, and Not a Bad Life started in like 2021. So like after the pandemic. So yeah, it was around that time, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Especially, I think the pandemic kind of pushed me to. One, it was like very rough and everybody was very sad. And I feel like I was the only person who's not sad.
Yeah.
It was a sad time, but I was just very enclosed. I was just like, yeah, like I need some time to myself.
Yeah.
I was stressed out.
It's not that bad, actually.
Yeah, literally. And around that time, I got into therapy. It was a lot of like things going on, but I feel like it was a lot of like rebirths going on around that time for me. And yes, it was a sad moment, but I feel like it was a time also to spread more joy, positivity. And I'm like, yeah, I'm launching it. It took me a minute because, like I said, I was Butterblock, so I got my logo done. I kind of transitioned to Instagram and kind of like filtered people into it and told people what it was about. And that's when I'm like, okay, we're going to sell. The anniversary is actually March 2nd, so that's my baby's birthday.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, we passed
We're in
it.
March right now.
Today is the
You know, it's fine. This year is actually like flying by.
New Year starts in March, so Happy New Year.
Yeah. After, right? That's according to, I mean, isn't that Asian culture?
Yeah, and
like,
also it should be that way anyway. It's like things bloom in March. Like, why are we saying Happy New Year is cold as fuck?
Yeah. So, was there anything personally that was going on in your life to make you say, hey, I wanted to start the blog?
Yeah, well, the blog, yes. You know what's crazy? Now that I look back at it, when I was in college, my grandma passed away in 2017 from ovarian cancer. She told me when I was a junior or senior in college. Now, if I would have been asked in that moment, did that change anything? I would have been like, no, I was just sad. But looking back at it, it changed a lot for me. Like, I'm the person I am now, I was not that person. I was a different person around that time. I was sad, I was angry, and Not a Bad Life definitely was an outlet for me. And then after her passing, like, my life fell apart. Like, in all avenues, I had nothing. And as I'm like getting my life together, even when I'm still doing Butter Blog, I'm just kind of, that was me kind of like talking through it, even though I wasn't being direct, like this is going on with me. But it was times where I did not want to be here. I did try to unalive myself. It was just really bad. And my blog kind of helped me because from there, like I said, I found community. There's other people that's going through that. And I didn't know that, of course. You don't want to talk about that because it's embarrassing. And I'm really grateful for Not a Bad Life because it did it's kind of like, it's weird to say this, but it's kind of like when people go through stuff and they find the church and they're like, yeah, the church helped me. But me doing Not a Bad Life, it kind of transitions me to be a more peaceful person. I'm not angry anymore. Like, I handle my emotions better. Like, because before, if I was mad, it's up. Like, but now it's like violence. Why are we doing that? I'm a whole different person.
Just like it was just like a different avenue for you
it
to kind of
was.
express that and take out all of those feelings without
It was like
being destructive or something.
Yeah, even when I think about it, I was angry for a reason. There was a lot of things going on with me, and I had every right to be angry. But then at the same time, I could not stay like that. I was losing people because don't nobody want to be around somebody who keeps self-destructing. People didn't, even if I wasn't losing them, they didn't want to be bothered with me. I also believe that when things like that happen, your brain is in negative mode. So I'm just like, nothing good is happening to me. Nothing good is ever going to happen for me. And nothing good was happening. So I think that I got tired of myself. And I'm like, I got to like switch something to, and then I kind of just start talking to myself better. I start asking for help. I start telling people what's going on with me. I started to get help and I started to move through life that way.
Yeah, guys, I feel like a lot of times when you keep thinking negative and thinking negative, it's just gonna be like you're just gonna be stuck in that.
You
moment,
are,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
I was having a conversation with somebody today, and they were like saying, they're having a hard time finding a job and things like that, and they were like, there's other people on TikTok that are talking about how they're having a hard time finding a job, and how they feel sorry for themselves and things like that. I'm like, you gotta, first of all, remove yourself from that TikTok algorithm and switch it to something more positive where people are actually saying, I have a job, I have a job.
I think people find comfort in that, but agreeable, like you don't want to stay in that, that vibe. Yeah. Also, stuff like that, don't blame yourself, blame everything else that's going around you. Because to me, like, even though I feel like that's kind of wrong to say sometimes, but if I know people who can't find jobs right now, and I'm like, do you know what's going on right now? Like, don't be so hard on yourself. If you are saying you are trying, you're doing the best that you can, and still not working out,
that's all you can do.
That's all you can do. And it's, of course, it's easy to say when you're not going through that, but I have been. Yeah. And it's just like, I just say, like, just keep trying. I'm here for support. Like,
yeah. So were you surprised by the response that people had to it at first, your blog?
Yeah, I'm still surprised the response that people have to Not a Bad Life. I'm just very like in my own world a lot. And when you're creating stuff, you're just like, I don't know if people are gonna like it. I was watching this interview of Megan Thee Stallion, and she was talking about every time she performed, she is nervous that people or she's surprised that people are there for her. And then watching it, it's like you're Megan Thee Stallion, but you just still never know. So I'm always, that's why every time I'm talking about Not a Bad Life, I'm like, I'm grateful. I'm just grateful people like my stuff.
Like, So after 5 years of building it, what actually you said you want to just find a way to monetize it. But what made you realize that it was actually like getting bigger than just you writing?
When I just kept having incoming sales. I'm like, oh, y'all really like me. And I was vending a lot. And vending, a lot of people don't want to do it because it's a lot of work. But vending is where you meet your audience face to face. Like, it's one of my favorite things because I'm literally meeting my audience. I'm taking notes about what they wearing, like what the age group look like, because I'm doing my persona, and I'm like, okay, you look like this, and the other people that look like you, they're buying this item. Y'all like this item. But Damn, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
No, I said, was there a moment that you realized that this
Oh
was
yeah, when
getting
people were
bigger?
buying my stuff. And then honestly, when we got into the cohort, when we got into that cohort, I don't even remember filling that out. I vaguely remember it was a very short application. And I'm like, when we got the email, I looked at it and I closed my email. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I showed it to my friend and he was like, this is serious. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So we went to the meeting and I'm looking at everybody around us and I'm like, these people have been in business for years. I was literally, I ain't gonna lie. I was very like getting teary-eyed because I'm like, I'm really not supposed to be here. I just started my business not that long ago. And then when they told us like, oh, we looked at all y'all. Like we handpicked all y'all and blah, blah, and all that. I'm like, okay, I am supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Going through the cohort was a big like uplifter for me too, because we talked about this, like a lot of stuff that they had us doing. I'm like, oh, I'm already doing that. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So good.
So Chase talking about we actually met, what's it, like two and a half years ago now?
Yeah.
2 years. And Intuit, I don't remember that actually. I go through a lot of those programs.
League, Urban League.
Yeah, it was like an Urban League Oh, you're in it also? Oh, we're talking to the camera.
They popping though, yeah.
Yeah, so it was an Urban League cohort for small businesses around the city. We got a grant. We got mentored, and they talked to us about how we can grow our business, different things that we can do, and it came in a lot of good resources that I used. Throughout the whole process, as I was going to e-commerce brand at the time, so I used a lot of give us MailChimp for like a year free, which is nice. QuickBooks, a lot of that. So if you're a small business owner that's looking to get more opportunities, to actually just take a look at your urban leagues and a lot of smaller resources like that to help you grow your brand. But it was a lot of different. Yeah, you're right. It was like people that have been in business for
20 years. I was sitting next to this, like, as soon as you get somewhere, everybody's trying to flex. So yeah, I've been in business 30 years. I said, oh, I left the table like, girl, get out of my face. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I think there was some people doing like millions and millions of dollars in debt.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, am I supposed to be here for real? I told them how much I'm making. I told them how much not a bad life making.
You gotta start somewhere. I think even when I started that, because I was really just in there to focus on the e-commerce brand, and when I joined it, I think the e-commerce brand was doing like, I think we did like, $600-700 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And by the time I was done the program, I was pushing close to like $10K a month.
You know what I mean?
So it was literally just. It made you lock in, and
it did make you lock in. I will say, if you are, it's like having a coach.
Yeah.
So if they had us on a schedule, if you're someone who needs a schedule for real, they have you on the schedule.
Yeah.
So it was really nice, and I still have some aspects from it. Like me and my business coach used to do I used to do a yearly joint. She said, just do it by quarter.
Yeah.
And I realized when I do stuff like that by quarter, a lot of stuff I knock out before the quarter ends.
Yeah. And just have it.
So yeah, it was a good uplifter. I will say that. Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I use right now is Notion to help me, like,
Yeah.
I literally all the emails I'm gonna send out for the year, every reel or whatever, it's all on there. So if I need an idea, I just go on there and just take one out and just change it out if I need to, things like that. So
what's crazy? I operated like that where I did all my content ahead of time, and now all mine is just off the whim now. Well, I don't want to say all of it. I do I'll do it for the month and have like 3 per week or whatever. But some of it is just like, this is going on, so let me make some timely. But
so what was the biggest challenges that you saw where you were trying to turn something personal to more of a brand?
My biggest challenge was that I knew I was eventually going to have to be in front of the camera. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to sell this stuff and I'm not going to really show my face. And it was okay. And then when I did sometimes get in front of the camera, I noticed that I would get a spike. And I got really upset about that because I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to start doing more. I think right now, my biggest challenge is that, like I said, I have so much going on, which is I'm not really complaining about it, but you can't move anywhere for real until you get help. So now I'm in the process of seeing what does that look like for me? Do I need somebody to do email marketing for me constantly? the social media is something that I personally want to do.
Okay,
Like, I can't let nobody
You're the only
touch that.
person that can
It's
do that.
really, everyone says that, and I
You're
don't
the only
trust
person that
nobody
can
to do
that.
it. Yeah. So it's kind of like, what avenues do I need more help in? Do I find somebody to just run my ads for me? And even though I'm an expert, it's like I'm realizing I literally can't do everything, and I know I can't do everything.
Are you still doing all like the shipping and corners?
I do
That might be
everything.
one of the first things that you want to outsource. Well, not outsource, but bring in somebody else to help me out. Yeah, because that's probably the most time consuming thing.
It is that, and honestly, the email marketing is not too time consuming, but it's time consuming.
Yeah.
And I want somebody to segment my list. Like, it's a lot of stuff that I know how to do, but it's so much work. I'm gonna have to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So that is what my year goal is. So by the end of this year, I should be paying somebody. Consistently. So my biggest challenge is always like,
gonna get an employee.
Yeah, that's what and even now, like, I had a really good year last year. It was my first, I think I did 15K in sales last year, which is really nice. And then I get to this year and I'm like, I gotta do that shit again. Like, how am I doing it? I was having a breakdown.
Yeah.
I think you had texted me. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah. And you texted me back. And I think during that time, I was going through a breakdown. Because every day I'm just like, I want to make sure that I'm still having a good time. I love Not a Bad Life, and I don't want to be like a slave to, like, I got to get up and do this again. But it's also just like, I do have goals that I want to hit, and I will cry if I don't hit them.
Yeah, you have to. The thing about scaling brands like that is like you have to put in more money to scale, right?
And then this e-commerce, like, you know, it's hard. Around this time, people aren't like looking to sometimes buy. They need instant gratification, and sometimes that looks like food.
Yeah.
Like, I was on a college campus and they loved my stuff and I did well, but I was sitting next to somebody that had food and they was just
selling.
But we was on a college campus. That's instant gratification for them. So now it's just like, I feel like I'm always overthinking. Well, a marketing brain and my regular brain.
Yeah. They have to feel some type of, like, clothing brands are tough too because they have to feel some type of connection to.
Exactly. So I rely less on selling on my Instagram and more on just content, which it really works. Like, I'm not saying that, and I feel like also, as a consumer, everything is salesy. And I work in marketing, everything is salesy. Like, you click on something, they're gonna retarget you. And you're gonna see it somewhere else. It's annoying at this point. And I feel bad for telling people to keep buying my stuff. Right, no.
I tell you, everything that I post is buy my stuff.
I be like, shop now, and then I close my phone. Damn.
Everything, you gotta be shameless. Everything that I post, buy my stuff. I think I post one personal.
Come get your shit printed here today.
I think I've posted like one personal thing in like 3 months. Everything else is like,
you be like, this is
what
my month look like. Yeah, I had fun, but come get these services.
For me in the captions too, I'd be like, yeah, I did this and that.
I slip it in there. I'm like, today's. Please. It'll be like a picture of a sock, and I'm like, yeah, today's a good day. The sock says you look good, and you look good. And if you want to look good for real, please
buy the socks. Buy the socks so you can build right now. But you gotta be shameless. You gotta be shameless.
No, you do have to be shameless. You do. Shameless. I'm shameless, and then I'm just like,
because I be thinking about like you take like Steve Harvey and like all those celebrities. I'd be like, yo, like, 50 Cent.
That nigga put G-Unit brand at the end, and he talk about somebody's mama. www.gunitbrand.com. Like, oh, all right, bet. Okay,
like,
cool.
No, literally, like, you literally have to. I always think like you literally have to be everywhere, just talking about your brand and not be shameless about it.
Yeah, a few years ago, I read. I read it like, you know, somebody got to see your brand 7 times before they decide to buy it. It's literally like, okay, I do need to be everywhere. It's just like reshare, repost. When they do stuff for Instagram and people like, that's annoying. Using it as like a regular person that doesn't own a business, it is annoying. But I use my Instagram mostly for my business, and I'm just like, I need all that. Like, when they had to repost, I said, I start reposting all this old content.
Yeah, because people are, as much as everybody says Instagram is dying, people are on there.
No, it's not dying.
People are on there.
The
people are seeing your
audience is
stuff
changing.
too. Yeah, people are seeing your stuff too.
And then with us, it's harder for us to get to in front of people because they're purposely stopping it. They want you to buy ads.
They want you to buy ads. I buy ads. I don't
boost it as much. The boosting is more for awareness to me because I don't get a lot of sales through boosting. But when I actually go into Ads Manager and create my ads,
Ads Manager is So if you actually, that's one of the biggest changes I made a couple months ago. Is like just when I was learning more. I was like, if you go into Ads Manager, you can actually get down into the nitty gritty of who you're looking for.
Like specific targeting, like you by job, by subject area, like whatever you're doing.
Which is pretty cool. That was one thing I learned. So you described your mission as spreading positive propaganda. It's an interesting phrase. Where did the idea come from?
The idea came from, I've been saying spreading positive propaganda for a minute, but it literally stemmed from war. And technically, and how they use that. Okay, so this is where it came from. The government, not the government, but in general, when they're trying to get us to do something, they spread positive, they do not spread positive propaganda, they spread propaganda.
Yeah.
You'll see it through elections where like, you need to do this or you're gonna go that way, even through war, like we need you for war, you need to help the USA. And it's always used for bad. And I'm just like, okay, like the little art that I make are inspired by like old posters from like the 70s and 80s where people they were like kind of janky looking, but they were fun and they were colorful. And they're like, yeah, come to this party or come do this thing with us. But everything that I put out there is everything's going to be okay. Like it's okay if you're having a bad day. Fuck them if they made you mad. Like stuff like that. That's like, I feel like everybody can resonate with. I put it on like a little propaganda poster. So to me, I'm spreading positive propaganda. Every message in my store is something positive. I have a daily affirmations pen. I have a sticker that says like slow the fuck down for people who just always on the run or always overthinking. It's just all messaging. I think is good for us to interrupt.
Yeah.
Most of our thinking is negative and it's repetitive. So if you are thinking about something negative, it's probably the same situation. If you are in a relationship and that person got on your nerves, you think about that all day. Or somebody could have told you something like, we need to talk, and you don't know what it's about. You're thinking about that all day. And it's kind of like when you see something like Not a Bad Life and you see like Be Kind to Your Mind, you're like, yeah, like I should be kind to my mind. Yeah. Even if it's like a second and you go back to thinking whatever you were, it's like you took a minute to pause. And that's where kind of like spreading the positive propaganda come from. Because I feel like we get fed a lot of information and it's not positive, and we deserve that as a whole, especially our city.
Yeah. When you first started building out the brand, what were like kind of the first items that you started?
I wish I got one in that bag, but the first one I started with was my daily affirmations pen. And it's an enamel pen, kind of like the one I'm wearing. But it's like it's shaped as a piece of paper, and on it has the actual affirmations that I used to tell myself around that time. Like when I was going through like that transition, like I am grateful. That was my first baby. Sold it for $10, still $10. And it's still like a bestseller, which is really cool. I started off with small things. So I had enamel pens. I was nice today enamel pen, which I gave you in your bag too.
You say I was nice today?
Yeah. I was nice today because niceness and kindness are two different things to me, and niceness is like more of like a personality. Like you're chipper, you're more like people pleasing. It's like, oh yeah, it's okay. But when you're kind, you're maybe not as nice, but you still do good for other people. And some days I'm just not nice.
Yeah.
I was nice today. Like I wore the pen, I was nice today. And I feel like that's also relatable. Because people push niceness so much. And I'm just like, it's not about being nice. But it is about being kind to me. Yeah.
I never thought about it like that. It was like nice and kind being two different things.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it as that. But what does the positive messaging actually look like in practice for your brand?
In practice, that was a good question. In practice, it looks like me. So it's funny because when I talk to my friends, I'm like, when I'm doing Not a Bad Life, I want to make sure that I'm walking it like I'm talking it. So like everything I'm talking about, you see I'm doing. So as far as in general self-care, I'm somebody that gets up at 5 a.m. and I work out. Like that is very important to me. My routine is very important to me as far as taking care of myself. But
I can't do it.
You can.
I always
But
try.
you work out though.
But I can't do this.
To me, my day needs to be done.
Yeah.
This is not all the time, but my day I need to get a big chunk of my day done by 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So I'm waking up early. Like even I work from home and I don't really got to start till 9, but all my stuff is project based. So I'm waking up early, come back home, eat breakfast, do what I got to do. I'm done my day by like 12, 1 o'clock. And then I can work on Not a Bad Life and do everything else I got to do. But again, another practice is therapy. I go to therapy twice a month. It helps me just regulate my emotions. Some days I do need to talk to her about some stuff, and some days I just need to talk to somebody, and not necessarily like my friends and stuff like that. It's just like a venting session. As far as community, I am very big on community, and last year I started, which was my first event, but I do community events. So last year I did a fundraiser. I do events where people come together. They got to talk. They got to do arts and crafts. And I also do workshops. So people now hire me for workshops, and we go and we talk about whatever theme me and the person that's hiring me want to do, or I make up my own.
So they hire Not a Bad Life.
Yeah.
And you guys put on a workshop.
I put on a workshop. I just did something for Senator Sharif, and it was a small workshop. It was around self-care and reflection, and why reflection is important for self-care.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We had like a group conversation, and we did like an activity around it, and it was really nice.
I feel like you can really lean into that for another avenue of business.
That's
outside of the products.
That's what I'm doing, and that's why I'm just like, it's so much, because it's not even like I'm forcing it. It really is just happening, and it is like, I think that I'm doing what I really want to do backwards. So in the beginning, I always wanted to, in my mind, like Not a Bad Life, it needs to eventually be in a space where I'm connecting people. So I'm bridging these gaps of my community and therapy and resources. I want to have an event where I have a line of therapists and people can come talk for 5 to 10 minutes, and then maybe they'll get information around that and go from there. Like, there are a lot of resources for us and people don't know about it. And I feel like I can kind of bridge that gap based on what I look like, what my community looks like. So I'm doing it backwards. So I'm kind of like selling stuff, and I'm getting in a sense of where I'm doing more community stuff. And I'm just like, oh, can I bring my stuff to sell?
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense. Yeah. What, because I know you said you started in therapy. Well, you do therapy twice a month. What do you think are some negative connotations that people take from going to therapy, especially for Black and brown people?
That's always what I was going to speak on anyway, Black and brown people. But in general, it's always like the church. It's always like, oh, we lean into faith, which is absolutely no problem with that, but we also only rely on faith. And we don't rely on, to me, like any accountability. Like, yes, this has happened to you, but you should talk to somebody about it. And when you talk about therapy, it's, oh, they're not going to do anything but listen to what I have to say. Sometimes I tell people, like, that's not a bad thing, because nobody's listening to you right now. You need somebody to talk to. But also, it's not just them sitting there and soaking in your business. They're giving you tools to help you navigate better in life. And it doesn't mean, like, when you leave therapy, like, shit just going to be better right along. But you're learning along the way how to handle certain things. It's kind of like when people go to anger management and they learn tools of how to not be as angry when something happens. It's all around the same thing to me, and I feel like people strongly deny the effect that communication has. Like when you're venting, when you're letting out how you feel. You're putting names to your feelings that you probably never thought before. I feel like another thing, I think that's what I hear the most, is that it's not going to do anything for me. And it's just like, whatever you're doing now is not doing anything for you, so try. Or I remember somebody saying, well, it's going to take too long, and it's just like the time going to pass anyway. So just,
Might as well try and fix what you're going through, or walk through whatever you're trying to go through.
My thing is also, if you were to break your arm, you got a headache, or whatever, you want to go to the hospital right away. You got a gunshot, you want to go to the hospital right away and fix it. So why are we not the same way with our mental health? Like, if you feeling off, you should go figure out what's wrong. There's not nothing wrong with that. We all going through this.
It's also the money too, right?
That too.
A lot of times people can't find
resources
that
that's
are free
why
to also help you out. So I'm not sure if you know any free resources that people could use here in Philadelphia, but you can speak on it. But if not, I think that's one of the biggest things.
That that is also a problem too, as far as money and health. Mental care is not looked at as health care in general. Is not as important, even though it is. I don't know any free resources, but I do know, for me, I go through my job. So if you are someone who is offered that under the job, I suggest going to your, whatever your insurance brand is, and going on their website. If you're someone who doesn't work, when I didn't work, I got insurance through the state, and that's how I got therapy for free. So I guess that's a free resource. I don't know what that looks like now because of who we have in office, but those are the two main resources that I know of right now.
Has anybody really like talked to you like about your brand and said like, oh, this is really, helped me out?
Yeah, which, oh my God, it makes me cry. Somebody told me that they were in a really tough place and they didn't want to be here, and me helping them, me posting, helping them out. Someone came to me when it was sometime last year I was venting, and this girl was like, you don't remember me, but you gave me a free pair of socks when I was going through something, and she had them on, and she just was like, I came to get some more. Child, I just started breaking down crying.
Oh, wow.
It was another time where I was just out at someone's like music event, and this guy, he got my name mixed up with somebody else's, but he knew my brand. And he was like, I'm part of your newsletter. I love your newsletter. Like, I look forward to it every month. Was crying, I always cry. Yeah. But stuff like that, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, that's small things like that. I don't even want to say it's small because that's huge. You're essentially saving people, saving people's lives.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so like things like that, it's like just reminds you of why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And like gives you the motivation to help you scale or be bigger than, what you're trying to do.
The word of mouth. Yeah. Like, my friends will send me pictures sometimes of random people wearing my stuff in Philly, or a photographer, like somebody sent me a video of a DJ in dialect wearing my shirt. And I was just like, I just started crying. It's always just, I'm very grateful for it, because when I started this, it was more so because I really just feel like we all need it. Yeah. Of course I wanted to make money behind it, but never did I think that I would have to get serious to a point where I'm like, filing my taxes, like doing stuff like that. Sorry, I keep cursing. It's just in my natural state. But stuff like that, every year I'm like, oh, it's getting serious. Like every year I'm like, oh, it's getting serious. Yeah. And I'm always surprised by it. And I hope I just kind of am able to stay in that.
Keep leveling up.
Yeah, because I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, because like I said, when I started, I didn't even think, I'm like, oh, I'm about to just, drop this little thing, and if it fizzles out, it fizzles out. Like, but it stayed, and I'm just like, okay, so every time I'm just like, okay, what can I do fun? Now I'm at the point where like, yeah, I need you to buy my stuff. Yeah. Buy it now, please.
Yeah. So looking ahead to your future, what do you think excites you the most about Not About Life, where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish and do?
I got excited hearing that question, but what excites me the most is that I have so many ideas, and I know that I can do them. Like, I'm in a space now where I'm doing more community-driven stuff. Before, I was scared to do community stuff. I'm like, nobody's gonna come out. Even though I'm a brand that's just like, guys, you gotta be confident. It's literally for me, because I'm just like, I need to be more confident. I'm not treating myself nice. I was scared that nobody was gonna come out. Then I had an event, and I'm like, oh, people like me. So I'm looking forward to doing more events that bring people together, that don't involve drinking. I'll be outside. Yeah. But we don't always need that. And I feel
a few times.
Yeah, be outside. But I feel like when I'm with my friends and we're doing random stuff, I bring out coloring pages, I'm bringing out beads for us to make bracelets, and we're just having conversation. I feel like everybody should have that. Like, it feels really good. And when you're walking away from something like that, you feel energized, which is good for your like emotional self-care. You're around love. And I want everybody to experience
Euphoric
that.
Type
yeah, and I want everybody to experience that. And I can see now that I'm getting a lot of inquiries around workshops, so I'm looking forward to, just building off of that and doing more of
I
that.
really think, like, becoming something that's more of like a community hub, like, I really think that, I mean, not working on your brand, I'm like looking at my consultant head. I think that, doing more community, leading more into the workshops, I'm sure you be able to probably 3 times, 4 times your revenue, just collabing with other mental health hospitals, mental therapists, just like working with like people like that can't, not working with that, but like mental people that can't afford the actual mental therapist can actually just kind of use your brand
I agree.
as more of a
That's why I was like, I want to be that
point.
gap. It's funny though, because recently the workshop that I just did, someone asked me, would you do like elderly home? They asked me about a daycare, like an elderly home daycare. I'm like, yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Like those, I was talking to my boyfriend the other day, and I was like, I would love, because we were just talking about passive income. I want to open up a funeral home, personally, because like death is final and it's very sad, but there's no aftercare after that. And I feel like, or maybe I won't have to open up my own. It would be like a program I can attach myself to funeral homes. But I think of just a lot about what I've went through and how it shaped me. Like when I went through with my grandma, I'm traumatizing. Death is traumatizing. I don't know if everybody went through it the same way I did, but that was just horrible. Seeing someone like very lively to just they going like that.
Yeah.
So it was no aftercare, and it's still not. Like people in your family don't want to talk about it. You don't get like any type of like cuddling afterwards. Like you need that. You gotta just
deal with it. It's
you
like you're an adult. Deal with it.
yeah. An old
This what
friend told me to
happens.
keep my head up and keep going, and then she asked me to go out that same day. Like people don't that
No one knows how to deal with
that's
it.
crazy to me, and when I think about that, it just makes me. When I think about the future and not a bad life, it makes me think of the avenues that people need, like aftercare, and how I would love to come in and do that. And I instantly thought funeral homes. I'm like, it should be programs for people to help them deal with it, even when they're going through it. Someone died and they got to plan their funeral, and then it's just like so much going on. They don't have any space to grieve.
Yeah.
But
you can't even think about it. You just have to go right into, I have to go pick out a casket.
It's just it sucks. And but my future, not a bad life's future, definitely relies on community. I just want to do, if I could just like do community work for the rest of my life, I would love that. And just helping people, because it was a point in time where I had no help, and I know what that feels like. It sucks. Yeah. So being that person would just like, it brings me joy to do little stuff. Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people that are going to be watching this are trying to build something meaningful for themselves. What is some advice that you can tell them to kind of help turn what they've gone through and how they work through it into like a brand?
My first piece of advice, which is always my advice, is to stay consistent, and that goes into also having faith in what you're doing, because not saying that nobody had faith in me when I started it, but people don't take things seriously when you're starting something, because people start and not finish things all the time. So my advice is to always just be consistent. As far as like branding and stuff like that, I feel like it's so much I can say. On the side of that, I tell people all the time, get help with things that you don't know about. When we're running a business, technically, like, we should be running it. Like, we should not be an expert in every little single thing. I mean, I believe you can't grow when you're by yourself anyway. So, like, the large scale is just have faith and be consistent. Like, you wake up and work on that shit every day.
Yeah.
Like, every day until it kind of start to pop off in regards to whatever you think that is. Because it was one point, nobody cared about it, but now every day I'm getting somebody sharing something. It just means that people are thinking about me when I'm not even forcing them to.
Yeah.
But when you care about something, you're going to stay consistent. So consistency to me is kind of, that helped me, consistency.
Whether it's just like putting in an hour in every day,
Yes,
whatever that looks like to you, because a lot of people would think.
Yeah, before Not a Bad Life, as far as
jobs and do this, like, no, you can start with just like an hour or two.
Yeah, no. You need to keep doing more. When they say 10,000 hours, you gotta work on that every day, and and honestly, that's something you're supposed to do or you want to do when you're not even thinking about getting up and doing it every day. Like, you just like, all right, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
So consistency.
So we're gonna hop in some rapid fire questions. What's the most underrated form of self-care for you?
I feel like everybody say this, but sleeping.
Sleeping?
Ooh, I will take a nap.
8 hours plus. I get that.
That's a nap to me. The 8 hours is also a nap.
The after just knocked out.
I don't know how long a nap's supposed to last, like an hour or two. My naps be like 5 hours. I'll be waking up like.
It's dark out. That's funny. No, but hey, they do say sleeping does decrease your stress levels.
Also,
there's a lot of, obviously, facts
hitting
of sleeping.
something.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of rage rooms. If you are somewhere and you can
I always
break
wanted to go to
something.
one.
Oh, those are phenomenal.
Yeah. I always wanted to go to one.
You get the chance to throw stuff. You can beat up a car, depending on what package you get. But we all need to release. My third one is crying. I know you said this is rapid, but I should have said crying.
A book or piece of content that influenced you.
Ooh, a book that influenced me is Hood Feminism. I'm reading that right now, and I'm very just tapped in. But the book that influenced me, How to Steal Like an Artist. Not influenced like that, but it was a really good oh, okay. It talked about how, of course, no idea is original, but it kind of just gave advice on what to do when you are finding inspiration. And that kind of got me back into scrapbooking. So I scrapbook for Not a Bad Life. No one else sees it, but I find stuff that I like and I want to do in the future. It's stuff in my scrapbook that I did already.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see. But people scrapbook like journaling. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
But yeah, I see like, oh, this old artist did this. I like this. I'll put it in my scrapbook and I'll build around it and kind of show myself what that looks like if I were to do something like that.
Okay. And then one thing you're still learning as a founder.
One thing I'm still learning as a founder is to ask for help.
Okay.
As much as I'm like, we gotta ask for it, that's it. And it's not even like I don't want to ask. I'm just so in tune in my world and I forget to ask.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just like kind of like, yeah, right. Just sometimes you just be in your own world, you don't realize that you have so many people that can actually help you in your network, right?
Yeah, one of my friends made a joke. Sometimes my friends will actively be helping me and I'm still just like, they're like, you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And my friend Lon was like, you have to just kind of just do it for her and she'll just submit to it. Cause I'm like, no, you guys sit down. I'm okay, I got it. And I'm just over here like.
I got you. I feel you on that. But this has been a great conversation.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I appreciate you coming on the show, learning more about you, learning more about the brand, how you started it, and where you're trying to take it. Where can people find you and support the work that you're doing for Not a Bad Life?
Yes, Not a Bad Life is Not a Bad Life everywhere. NotABadLife.shop. Not a Bad Life on Instagram. It's 3 E's at the end, but when you type in Not a Bad Life, it's gonna pop up first. If you are on Pinterest, Not a Bad Life there too. If you are on Twitter, I am on Not a Bad Life. But my main hub is where everyone finds me is Instagram. I'm on TikTok up there on Not a Bad Life, of course. But my website too, which I'm trying to turn into a single hub. So I don't have to use Instagram like that. No.
Okay, yeah. So you have to push people somewhere, right?
Yeah, so I push people to my website now, but I want like all my events, anything like my website needs to be how we post on Instagram and the filters. I want my website to do that.
To be that same thing.
Yeah, so it's just like, cause I'll have people that's like, oh, I'm not on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, get my newsletter or something like that.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching this. I appreciate you as always. Meji Arijaje, Beyond the Brand, and catch you on the next one.